Greetings and welcome to the Fan Perspective. I'm your host Nathan Nile, and this is NFL Weekly Playoff Edition. The Wildcard round just ended, and whew, I was 2 for 2. I got all the NFC games right, got all the AFC games wrong. But this isn't about me. You want to know what happened in the games. Well, in case you didn't see it, in the AFC, Andrew Luck became the first QB in NFL history to have 3 consecutive playoff games with over 300 passing yards, which, if that's actually true, I'm shocked, just because the playoffs have been around for so long. So many great QBs have been there. But whatever, it's all good. Anyways, he leads the Colts over to a win over the Bengals. The Bengals have not... The last time they won a playoff game was a couple of months before I was born. And so the Colts beat the Bengals 26-10. And then you have the Ravens at the Steelers, and it seemed like an even matchup at first, but the Ravens, they turned it on, dominated the second half to come away with the win, 30-17. And so in the Divisional Round, you will see the Ravens at the Patriots and the Colts at the Broncos. And for the Ravens at the Patriots, I think the Patriots, they've looked pretty much invincible at home this season. But Flacco has twice in his career gone into Foxborough and won a playoff game. So this matchup seems about even to me. They both got a decent running game, but the Ravens rely on one guy, where the Pats do it more by committee. So I feel like the Ravens might be a little easier to shut down what is a pretty decent running game. But whatever. The Pats, they've got a slight edge at QB. I kind of like the Ravens receiving core just a little bit more. The O-line... The Ravens have a makeshift O-line, but they did well against the Steelers, and honestly, I respect the Steelers front seven just a little bit more than I respect the Patriots front seven. And then the Ravens, they have a great pass rush, run stop defense, but the Pats, their secondary is far superior. Okay, I'm going to take a risk, pick the Ravens with the upset, mostly just because if Ngata and Terrell Suggs, if they can wreak havoc at the line of scrimmage, if they can dominate that front line, push the Ravens O-line back, control the running game, put some pressure on Brady, then the Ravens have a good chance at winning this. Then you got the Colts at the Broncos. And of course the storyline here, Peyton Manning going up against his former team, a team that he won the Super Bowl with, and now he's going head-to-head with his successor. And I'm going to say this much. At this point in their lives, Luck is a better playmaker, not necessarily a better QB. Manning is just that he's old. He still has such great control of the game, and what he does pre-snap is unmatched in the league. But as well as he can control an offense, as well as he can control a defense, he's gotten older. His arm is weaker. He's a sitting duck in that pocket. We've seen what happens in games where you get a good pass rush. That's all you have to do to really throw him off his game, like what the Bengals did to him when they won a few weeks ago. So, I mean, the Colts have a decent pass rush, not an amazing one though. The Broncos, they have a much better running game. I feel like that's the obvious advantage. When it comes to winning a close game, I have confidence that either of these QBs could, come back, make a fourth quarter comeback. I feel like the Broncos are better built to hold on to a lead. So unless the Colts jump out to a 3-touchdown lead, then I don't see them really, coming away with a strong win. But I feel like the Broncos are a decent defense, so I'm going to go ahead and pick the Broncos for that one. Then in the NFC, in the Wildcard game, you had the Cardinals versus the Panthers, and the Cardinals finished the game with 77 net yards on offense, which is the lowest total in playoff history, as the Panthers obviously went on to win 27-16. And I'm shocked that there are actually people out there who are shocked about this. And then you had the Lions at Cowboys, which is the only game that I actually sat through all 4 quarters of. But hey, give me some slack. It was a busy weekend. You had NBA games. There was a lot of college stuff going on. Cut me a break. Plus, I fell asleep during the Bengals game. So, the Lions, they started off well. They controlled the first half. In the third quarter, they had a 20-7 lead. But the Cowboys fought back, and thanks to some slightly controversial calls and an incredibly controversial no call that even I, as a Cowboys fan, completely disagree with, that was a pass interference penalty. And I think it was wrong for them to pick that up. But, oh well, you can't change the past, and I'm happy with the result. The Cowboys end up winning 24-20. And so now, in the divisional round, you're going to have the Panthers at the Seahawks. The Panthers, they have what it takes to beat Seattle. They've got a decent defense, which hopefully can try to keep the score low so that it's not a shootout. And they've got a strong running game. They've got a lot of people they can put in that backfield to pound it out. So if they can get that running game established early and continue to use it, control the ball, control the clock, and more than anything else, put a few points on the board, then the Panthers have a shot of pulling off the upset. That being said, I fully expect Seattle to win. But don't sleep on the Panthers. They are better than their record. This is the playoffs. You know, any given Sunday, anything can happen. If you sleep on the Panthers, they can surprise you. Then you've got the Cowboys at the Packers. One of the classic rivalries in the NFL. The last time that the Cowboys played a game in Lambeau during the playoffs was the Ice Bowl, way back before my parents were even born. And so yeah, this could potentially be the best game of the weekend, at least based on paper, because the Packers 8-0 at home this season. Cowboys 8-0 on the road. So these are two teams, and they're both great teams. And you know, the Cowboys, I love them. They're my team. I'm going to be rooting for them every single game. And since, you know, after the horrible debacle on Thanksgiving, since then they've been almost untouchable. They've looked pretty amazing most of the time, except for a few bad quarters here and there. They had a bad start last week, but still, you know, the Cowboys look amazing, and this is the best I've seen them look, well, since the 90s, basically. And, you know, in all honesty, I think they can win. But if I had to put my money on it, I'm going to go with the guy who's been there, done that. So I'm going to say that Aaron Rodgers and the Packers win this one. But it's only going to be by like 3 or 4 points. So that's all for this edition of NFL Weekly. Tune in next week for another on-air episode. But until then, this has been Fan Perspective. And I'm your host, Nathan Lyle. Have a great week. Enjoy another great weekend of playoffs.